Hi, I'm Heather, a certified personal trainer, yoga instructor, and have my BS in exercise science and behavioral coaching from Arizona State University. I currently live in Oregon with my 3 kids, who I will reference often.
And I'm Britt, a former Division I collegiate athlete turned recreational triathlete and fitness instructor. I have a degree in exercise biology from UC Davis, and I currently live in Belgium with my husband and 4 kids.
Together, we're best friends wanting to bring the world of health and fitness back to a more grounded and balanced place that's accessible to everyone.
Each episode, we're going to talk about ways to live out a well-rounded and healthy life that makes sense in today's modern, busy world. We'll cover topics related to exercise, nutrition, mindset, mental health, competition, and so much more.
So sit back,
Sign up,
and let's get ready to race to wellness. Cool. I feel like this one might get like us emotional, and we might cry a little bit.
All right.
I know I might.
I hadn't planned on crying, so.
We put in our outline, this is where Heather cries.
Yeah. If you want to skip this bit, totally go for it. I'll mark you back in.
Literally at the tag, Heather crying.
It'll be the chapter on YouTube. It'll be like, Heather's crying right now. You can skip this.
Skip this part. You don't need
We're
it.
also not quite sure why she's crying right now. All of a sudden, she just started crying. Anyway.
But anywho, moving on.
Okay. I
Okay.
guess, how did you find fitness to your life? Did you start out being like super active as a child, or did it not come until like adulthood?
I was a teenager when I connected with fitness in any sort of way. So when I was a kid, I was homeschooled. And I remember that with the other homeschooling families, we would go to the mill pond in Vernonia, which is like a 1-mile loop around this pond. And all the other kids would run, and I would start running with them, and then I would stop running because I hated it so much. And so I would walk the whole rest of the time. And I remember my mom used to tell me, because my brother is a great runner. Like, he did track or he did cross country in high school, all that kind of stuff. But he was a great runner. And my mom used to be like, oh, it's just because you have short legs. That's why that you're having a hard time. And I was like, I don't think so. I think that I just don't like that. I don't like running.
Yeah, so you were until a teenager when you found your connection, essentially. Your yoga.
Yeah. Yoga. Yeah. In high school, I was like, I think I started taking, they didn't call it yoga because of the religious whatever associated with it, supposedly. Education is weird. Anyway, so they called it like strength and flexibility, I think is what it was called. But the instructor would have me go into the front of the class because my body mechanics, I'm very bodily aware, so he would use me as an example a lot. And then he would have me teach the classes sometimes. And I remember in high school, he said to me, he was like, you should become a yoga instructor. And I remember completely panicking in my mind, not because I didn't think that I could do it, but because I knew that my mom and my parents didn't have any money. And in my mind, I thought it was going to cost $1 bajillion to do that. And so I was like, no, I'm not interested in that at all. And so I just blew it off, and I told him no, and then continued taking the classes and loving it, that kind of stuff. And then years later, when I reconnected with yoga and started down the journey of becoming a teacher and realizing how inexpensive it actually is, like, not inexpensive, it still costs a good amount of money, but I'm like, but compared to a degree, if I had started like training to become a yoga instructor when I was 15 or 16 or 18, like, I would have been in a totally different space than I am now. But I appreciate where I am now with my personal training and with weightlifting journey and with Taekwondo and all the other things I've done in my life. I appreciate that I wasn't solely focused on yoga, so that I have a more rounded physical fitness journey, I guess.
So after high school then, where did your fitness take you? Because I assume you stopped taking these classes.
Yeah, when high school stopped, all those classes stopped.
All those classes go away. So what did you do?
Let's see, what did I do? I started running because it was free. Basically, you just go outside and you run. And I ended up joining team in training with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society because I knew that I wanted to run longer distances. So I wanted to run a half marathon. And team in training, we've talked about it before, but they train you to run an event or to do an event in exchange for you doing fundraising. And at that time, my grandma was going through chemo and radiation for lung cancer, and among other things. And so I ended up joining team in training. The reason I chose the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, aside from that program that they have, is that I had a good friend who, when I was probably like 17, he passed away from leukemia. And so it was something that I just connected with. I can't remember. I keep thinking about this, and I cannot remember if I started weightlifting first or if I started Taekwondo first. And I think that they happened pretty like simultaneously. I think that weightlifting came just slightly before. So my friend Emily posted on Facebook that she had started going to Planet Fitness and she was looking for kind of like an accountability partner. And I had never set foot in a gym. I had no idea about gym equipment, any of that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I don't know, but I'm really good at accountability. I'll hold you accountable to going. I'll show up and I'll just walk on the treadmill or something. And so once I started going with her and just kind of like I followed her routine for a minute, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to come up with my own and kind of do my own thing. And the gym feels like home to me. I don't know how to explain that to people who have never been there before and had that experience, but like it's it's home. Like it feels so inviting and comfortable, and like I get to make my own set of rules and follow my own program and like just move my body in a way that makes sense to me. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just feels good. Yeah. So we did that for a long while. And in the middle of me doing that year at the gym, my oldest started doing Taekwondo. And so I would go and have to sit there anyway to watch him do the classes. And I was like, they have a family class. Like I should just do the class with him. That'd be way more fun. And so I joined in, and it was awesome. Like the thing that Taekwondo taught me about myself is that even when it's hard, even when it sucks and I want to quit, you can always give more. And so it
Yeah.
taught me that I'm capable of so much more than I ever thought I was possible at all. And yeah, kicked my ass. I was probably the most fit when I was going to Taekwondo, because the thing is that like, yeah, there's such a respect for your master. So Master Yu is who I went. I went to Master Yu's Taekwondo in Aranko Station, and he's incredible as an instructor. So welcoming, inviting, knowledgeable, really teaches you really well. But he also pushes you in a way that is healthy, like not in a like scary, like do it now and you break your
Yeah.
hand. Like that's not what I'm talking about, but in a way that like he can see that you can give more. And I remember there being like these demos where like I ended up switching to adult class when my oldest stopped going. And so in the adult class, you would have like 8 different stations, and you would have to do 10, I think it was 10 kicks at each one. And you would just line up and you would do them, and you would keep going and keep going, and you would do 4 or 5 or 10 rounds. And by the end of it, like you are jello. There's no energy left in you,
Yeah.
but everybody is standing there and cheering you on and like egging you to go and go and go and push yourself. And it's such a good feeling being able to push through that and find more. Yeah, I love that. Love that so much.
Yeah. It also probably brings out the ability for you to kind of connect more with your body and everything, because you
Yeah.
have to find, like, you have to go through all these stations and do more, do more, do more. So you have to find something inside of you to keep going when you're tired.
Yeah. Because you don't have the option to stop. I think that's the other part. It's like
Exactly.
everybody is there watching and doing the exact same work as you, and you don't have the option to stop. Can you give it less energy? Sure. I'm sure that people
It
do,
is.
but that's not who I am as a person. I'm going to give it 100% of my all every single time. And I just love it. I miss it so much. I'm like, if I could fit it right now into my finances and into my schedule, I would 100% be doing Taekwondo again. Yeah, and the bond that you create with people, I think that's the other part. Like, there's such a community around fitness and health and activity that I wouldn't say everybody is supportive, but
Yeah.
a huge portion of the community is, for sure.
Well, you find your community in fitness,
Yeah,
because there are different groups for different mindsets and different people. So if you
Yeah.
are someone who is real type A and you've got to like go, 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 go about fitness, you are not going to fit in well with someone who's just like, I run when I want to run or whatever they do. Like
Yeah.
those two are not going to mesh well necessarily. So you will find your group that works for you.
I agree. And yeah, and Taekwondo especially is it's such a community. I just love it. Love that.
Yeah. Well, it feels
Yeah.
like because when you're in the class, if you are all doing the same thing and struggling together, you're going to
Hmm.
start forming those bonds together with each other. And
Yeah.
you will accomplish, like maybe it's a really hard workout, you will accomplish it together.
Hmm. And then where I've gotten to now, I was kind of born out of necessity, if I'm being completely honest. So I really got into fitness and into Taekwondo probably the last 2 years of my marriage. And coming out of my marriage, so I had worked at Starbucks for 10 years or something crazy. And that was really the only like experience that I had. And I felt like I didn't have a skill set that was marketable or was going to allow me to support my family in the way that I wanted to. And so I had to make a decision about what I was going to do with my life. And because fitness had become something that was so important to me, and I loved the community of it, and I loved getting to watch other people grow alongside me, it became something that I wanted to be part of. I wanted to be the
Yeah.
instructor that got to push people and got to help them see what they're capable of. And so that's when I decided to go back to school, got my bachelor's degree, exercise science and behavioral coaching.
Yes.
And then in the process of that, I was also had restarted doing yoga. And my mentor, Nani, said, I think that you should become a yoga instructor. And I said, great, I'm going to do it. And so I jumped in and did that. And then in the process of that, I was like, I really enjoy personal training. I had started working with a personal trainer and loved that individual relationship that I built with him. And so I was like, I would like to build that with people. So that's where that came in. Yeah. And now I'm certified. I have so many certifications. It's ridiculous. It's like a little collection of things that I have. I'm certified CrossFit level 1. There's 3 different types of yoga that I get to teach. I'm a personal trainer. I have my behavioral coaching, my bachelor's degree. Yeah.
Kettlebells,
Yeah. Kettlebells. I'm like, all the things.
all these different things. Yeah.
Yeah. But all of it really comes back to the idea of like helping other people to feel good in their bodies. Like that's a huge thing for me when I'm not doing exercise, when I'm not working on my fitness and just moving regularly, I feel terrible. It really is detrimental to my mental health. And so I want to help people move from a space where they're like, I can't imagine ever liking doing exercise to a space where they can't imagine their life without it. So what about you? Where are you going to start?
All right. I guess I started in fifth grade. No, not even fifth grade. In like 5, 6 years old.
Oh, baby
So,
Brett.
baby Brit. So I started out, I guess, like ice skating, but the ice skating rink was really far away, and
Okay.
I had gotten to the point, I guess, where like the group lessons, like I'd graduated from those classes and now I kind of needed some more advanced coaching and more one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And my mom kind of posed this to me of being like, we can continue ice skating or you can like go play basketball, which you also wanted to do. And I was like, I'm going to go play basketball.
Cute.
I'm going to
Oh.
go do that, I guess. And so started playing basketball in my team. Lived in a very small area. So like we did not have a lot of people on it. And so my dad coached my basketball team for like 3 years and grew up playing
Cute.
that. And then got into middle school, and the school I went to had no sports programs. And I was
No.
like, I play a lot of, like, I want to do sports. And so I kind of asked if I could go to a different middle school and was able to go there. And when I was there, I found out that they had volleyball as a sport as well. It's like, I've never played this before, but I want to go play that too. Why not? And then in the springtime, so I played volleyball in the fall, and then I played basketball in the winter. And in the springtime, they had track and field. And I was like, cool, I need something to do between basketball and volleyball because those aren't going on. And so
Yeah.
I signed up for the track team. And because I kind of hit my growth spurt, I guess, earlier than a lot of people, I was taller and bigger than most of the other girls, like in my grades. So I was always on the higher ends of competing. And so they stuck me in shot put.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. So I went through the
Yeah.
shot put in 6th grade and got second place in my county. That's neat. Um,
Yeah. That's
but then I
awesome.
also high jumped. Like
Okay.
these super eclectic thing. Like you shot putted, you high jumped, I also ran, but because there were so many like other people who like ran as well, they were like, okay, you go do these other things. They'll do the running.
Yeah.
And then like just figured out that I was really good at all of these events and stuff. I was like, that's neat. So then when I
Yeah.
got to high school, because I had already built like a name about myself, I guess,
Mhm.
I played volleyball. I then went and played basketball, and the track team was starting, but basketball was still going on. Like
Mhm.
we were still playing our games, but the track team was already practicing. So I went to the coach my first year in high school, and I was like, "Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself so that you don't forget about me because I'm not gonna come over and play until basketball is done." And they were like, "We already know who you are."
Okay.
We know who you
Yeah.
are. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll have spot off for you on the team. Don't worry.
That's awesome.
Eventually, my love of sports changed from being like basketball is my best favorite sport to being
Mhm.
track and field and then volleyball. Just
Okay.
based off of like who the coaches were at my school, who the like players on the teams were, like where my friendships things lied, like it just changed and
Yeah.
went all in eventually on track because I became really good at track, not to boast or brag, but I
Yeah.
got really good. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
It feels really weird trying not to brag about myself about high school because
Yeah.
obviously this is like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 15, 20 years ago. So me talking about how, yeah, I was the best in the whole area, regional, whatever, 20 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's still impactful. I don't think that it's a bad thing to say, like,
I mean, it makes sense for like where I like growing my story, but it feels funny to be like the person that was like, yeah, I won this 20 years
yeah.
ago. It's like, good for
Yeah.
you.
I hear that.
uh,
Although thinking about when I ran half marathons, that was, 12 years ago. So, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think it adds character. It's all about who we are. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that the lens of things is different though, because
Yeah.
you don't do high school sports all your life. You do high school sports for four
Yeah.
years, but you could run half marathons in random races for all your life.
Oh, yeah. I guess I see. Yeah, I
So
can see that.
yeah, and it in my brain it goes back to like you go to your high school reunion and there's always the guy, which I've never been to a high school reunion by the way.
Me either. Never. I don't want to go.
So I don't even know but like when I see them on TV and things like that, there's always the character that's like the high captain of the football team and he's still stuck in high school. That guy. And
Yeah.
so that's what I equate me being like, I was really good at track and field in high school, guys. Like so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to like super
I don't
brag,
want
but
to be that person.
I was pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's get out of that. I then went to college and ran track and field for UC Davis. So I get to claim that I was a Division 1 athlete.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But then this is where like I feel like this is now where my love of fitness and things starts to fracture a little and I had to come back
Okay.
around and find it again. So I'm pretty much certain that I was depressed in college. Like
Yeah.
they're looking back on everything that's happening and like the just behaviors that I expressed and everything, like I'm very certain that I was undiagnosed depressed.
Yeah.
Probably could have benefited a lot from knowing about this and just like knowing what depression is back then, because I think we've talked
Yeah.
about this before where I just didn't know this was a thing. Like I thought
Yeah.
that this was just me and okay, whatever. Um and so I have so much regret from college. Damn it, I'm gonna be the one that cries.
Yeah. That's
All right.
okay.
This is where Brittany cries. You can skip forward until when she stops. No. um, but I have so much regret from college athletics because I don't think I took it like serious enough, I guess.
Okay.
Like I have memories of being yelled at by my coach, being like, "Why are you in the weight room?" And it's like, because I'm struggling to exist as a human right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know who to talk to about any of this. Um, yeah, so like I feel like I probably could have been a better athlete if I had known what was going on with me mentally, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was also struggling at the time with a lot of body image because up until this point, I have never. This is the most uncomfortable because now I have to look at myself crying.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
move the camera. Don't look
Move
at
the
it.
camera away. Don't look at yourself. But like up until college, so all through high school and middle school, when a lot of people start their body image issues because they grow boobs or they
Mhm.
go through hormone changes. Like I didn't have issues with body then at all.
Yeah.
Like I just ate the cake. I ate when I was hungry. I stopped when I wasn't hungry. I ate food was just food. Like there's no good or bad food in my house at home growing up. There
Yeah.
was always cookies or chips or whatever in the pantry and you can go get them if you want them or you can leave them there if you're not hungry. Like who cares?
Yeah.
And so when I got to college and one of my coaches, I think it was just probably a mixture of one, I'm struggling with just mental stuff, but also him not knowing how to talk to me about it. He made the
Yeah.
comment that I could use to like lose 20 pounds. And it was,
Whoa.
it makes total sense when you think about where track and field was at this time and just everything. We equated thin and light with fast and
Yeah.
able to do this, which in a way makes sense because if you're trying to run 5 miles, you need to bring all your weight with you. So if you're heavier, you're going to be slower. But
Yeah.
it doesn't always mean you need to just lose weight. It might have meant that you need to put on muscle instead of just
Mhm.
losing weight. And so hearing you could use to lose about 20 pounds
Mhm.
and not knowing how to do it was
Yeah.
really frustrating and also just again probably added to more of this depression of I don't know how to do that and I don't know what to eat now. And so that's when I started to struggle more with my body image and
Yeah.
food and things of being like, okay, well my coach thinks I'm fat and I guess I can't eat any of this food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. And then, so we're just going to skip forward after all this. But we lived in this state of just, we're unstable. And we're not
Yeah.
super unstable, but like we were depressed and didn't know what to eat, didn't know how to nutrition, didn't know how to change body composition, anything like that.
Yeah.
Hence the regrets of I wish I could have been a better athlete in college. When I graduated, though, I didn't know what to do with my life because
Yeah.
so I graduated with a degree in exercise biology. I did an internship with the UC Davis Medical Center. And I mean, maybe if I had done a different internship, but the internship that I chose to do there was in the Cardiac Rehabilitation Center,
Okay.
which most of the patients that came through there had just had some sort of heart surgery. So whether
Okay.
it was they needed a heart transplant or they had a stent or something happened, like they had a heart attack, most of the patients in there had something like that. And so they're coming to this department for rehab And a lot of the rehab
Mhm.
that we were doing was helping them walk on the treadmill and do some basic like weightlifting stuff. But it just wasn't what I pictured. And I couldn't make the connection of how I was helping people at that time.
Yeah.
Because the other part was you would then have to check their blood pressure like every 5-10 minutes. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to just be checking blood pressures like all day. Like I want to be doing something else. So I feel like
Yeah.
if I had done a different internship, I may have gone down a different route. But I decided then and there that I did not no longer wanted to be a doctor, no longer wanted to be a physical therapist. I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm done. Even though my
Oh.
degree is literally prepping me to go in this field, go do something over there. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so now I don't know what to do in my life. And I don't know what to do fitness wise. I don't know what to do with my degree. I ended up eventually not using my degree for like a career that I found, but
Yeah.
I needed to figure out how to move and do fitness. And so I tried long distance running, didn't work. Tried triathlon, didn't work. It will eventually work, spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
um,
Yep. Yeah.
and then I also just never found my tribe of people. Like you were talking about how
Yeah.
in like Taekwondo you have this like group of people and you become very connected. I never became super connected with people in that.
Yeah.
And it's not because there aren't those people there. There are plenty of people who have these amazing niches and like groups. I just didn't find mine. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I eventually found 24-hour fitness and I
Mhm.
found Body Pump, which is a
Yeah.
class
Les
from Les
Mills.
Mills. Yep. Love Les Mills. But I
Yeah.
found Body Pump, and if you don't know what that is, it is a weightlifting class that's done to music. So each track is a different body part or a different muscle group, and you go through 52 minutes worth of class essentially of
Mhm.
just different stuff. And I fell in love. I was like, yes, this is great. I'm gonna come to this every freaking day.
Yeah. I love
So it was
that.
basically every other day I went to Body Pump. I was like, yep, this is
Mhm.
great. And then how did I get out of Body Pump? I think it was I stopped having access to 24-hour fitness, or just decided that I didn't want, like I couldn't afford the gym membership anymore or something. So I had to
Mm.
let go
Yeah.
of that. And the gym that I could afford didn't have those classes. I was like,
Yeah. That's
cool,
such a
thank
bummer.
you. Yeah, it is. Because I mean, I know that 24-hour fitness isn't like not expensive necessarily, but the one that I went to that had the classes that I enjoyed taking
Mhm.
was the more expensive version. And I was like, I
Yeah.
can't afford this right now. So I will get rid of that and I will go to the cheaper gym. It'll make sense. I'll work. But then the classes I wanted to go to were not there.
Yeah.
So I again started to fall out of love with fitness and everything. And then finally I'm totally skipping over my beach body phase, by the way, so don't even worry about it, people. But I decided to go to a PIO class at the recreation center in Hillsboro.
Mhm.
And I was like, I know of this class from Beachbody. Like, I'm going to go to it. Didn't know that you could do it in person. And the instructor was awesome. She's an awesome person, but she was mentioning that she was needing to go on like a break for something and is trying to find a
Mhm.
substitute. And I was like, what? You need a substitute? I love this class. I've taken it one time, mind you. I have taken this class one time. And I'm like, I love this class. And coincidentally, someone was coming to the area to certify people in this format.
How Yep.
How does this
Serendipitous.
happen? And so I was like, I'm gonna go do that. And so I signed up for this format to go get certified in it, and I got certified in it. And the instructor who certified me was like, tomorrow I'm doing insanity as well. And I was like, great, I'm gonna sign up and I will get certified to teach insanity also. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
reason for me to
awesome.
do this. I have no class to take over, whatever. It's fine. I got on the schedule to be the substitute then for
Mhm.
Pio, and I substituted her while she was gone, and then every time she needed a sub. And then the gym owner, or not owner, the gym like fitness director was like, we're looking for instructors to do other stuff too. Like these classes need to be filled. And I was like, oh, okay, what classes do you need? And she's like, we need a cycling instructor. And I was like, I know how to ride a bike. I can do this. So I got
Yeah.
certified to be able to do that and signed up for all of the morning cycling classes, which were at 5:30 in the morning.
Not your time.
That wasn't my time that I thought that I wanted to teach at, but I was like, nobody else wants these times, which means that I will not have any competition for getting this class. I'm going to get that class. So I
Yeah.
grabbed that class. And then the other class opposite it was some kind of like boot campy type class. And I was like,
Okay.
cool, I can just teach it like insanity and do some other stuff. And along the course of all this, I also got certified to teach Core de Force, which is like a mixed martial arts type class. So like body combat
Oh.
equivalent in Les Mills world.
Yeah.
And then I also got certified to teach P90X. And I was like,
That's
great,
awesome.
I've got all of these now certifications.
Yeah.
I can mix all of these
I feel
in.
like that's the common theme
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
It's got all these things. So then I started teaching classes and remembered why I love fitness, or like found that re-love of it. Not why I love it, but found this re-love of fitness. Again, through group exercise and group training, things like that. I got to see myself helping somebody else through their workout, which then reminded me that, yeah, working out is awesome. And now you can go work out on your own, and you can go lift on your own as well for your own workout.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic hit.
Wah,
Oh
wah.
man, yeah. After multiple, like 3 years worth of like loving these classes and teaching, the pandemic hit and shut down all our classes. At that point, I'm like, okay, I can't go to the gym, and I can't teach classes, and I can't do all these things. And now I've moved to, I lived at my parents' house for 8 months, and they don't live anywhere near a gym.
No.
And so I have a dog at this point as well who needs exercise. So I would take him for, like, I would leave their house and drive to like state parks or things to go take him for a walk. And at that point, I was like, I might as well just go run with him, because might as well get a little bit of energy out. And I then finally fell in love with running. It took all of this time of my life to fall in love with long distance running, which is weird to say because I, again, was a track and field athlete for like 12 plus years.
Yeah. That's awesome though.
Yeah. And so I took him out every single day after I would sign out of work, and we would go run for about an hour every day. So we got up to the point of being like 6-7 miles each day of running, and it was great. And yeah, so that's kind of how I found my way back to fitness. Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of my life in a nutshell there. Leaving out that whole beach body moment, because we're going to talk about that in another episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's coming down the road, not very
Down
far.
the road.
Yeah. I think there's two things from your story that I really related to that I want to talk about. One of them is the financial piece where you talked about like, I don't have the money to pay for this anymore. And that's something that is super important to me, because like we talked about in my story of like, I didn't have money to become an instructor when I was in high school. And then I started running because it was free. And so like as a personal trainer, personal trainers can charge a lot of money, especially if they're really, really good at what they do. And I like hold in my core that fitness should be available to everybody. And so as part of my business model, I've built it in that everything that I do is on a sliding scale. And so for people that are listening, if you're wanting to work with a personal trainer, but you don't have the financial means for it, like reach out, please. And we can come to an arrangement that works for both of us so that you can focus on your fitness and being well, and not have to pay an arm and a leg. Like I still obviously have to pay my bills, but we'll make it work for you, because I feel like it should be available to everybody, regardless of socioeconomic status. Health and wellness should be available to everybody. Yeah,
Especially because so much of this isn't taught in school.
yeah.
So like, I think I've mentioned before, like I didn't take a health class in school. So
Yeah.
I didn't know nutrition or things like that. And then when I got to college again, you
Mhm.
could lose 20 pounds. What does that mean? What am I allowed to eat? I
Right?
don't know.
Yeah. Right? I'm like, that's how you get into disordered eating is when suddenly you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that if I eat less food, that's supposed to help. And then you get into a bad place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
Or like you have to rely on marketing and companies who might not
Mhm.
have your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
That can also be
Yep.
difficult because you have to go off of, oh, they say that if I eat their product or if I take their pill that I will see magic results. Here's all my money.
Yeah. Right? Take
Does
my
not.
money. I want to
Yeah.
be that person that my coach wants me to be. And
Yeah.
that's not healthy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the other part of it that's just kind of funny was the idea of the certifications, all the different
Yeah.
certifications. Once you start kind of down this road and especially like thinking about my personal training stuff, like I have to constantly be doing continuing education units
Yeah.
to maintain that certification. And so you just kind of get interested in random things and you're like, I'll learn about kettlebells. I'll learn about that.
Yeah.
Why not? I'll do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And it all adds value to what we're doing is what I really feel like. Should we talk about why we started a podcast?
Why are we podcasting? This seems like a lot of
Why?
work.
It's a lot. It's so much work
So
all the
much
time.
work.
Yeah. I don't think that you guys realize like just how much work we put in all the time. And like to create content, to make sure that these episodes sound good. Brittany does an incredible amount of work on editing them and putting them together. So just shout out to her. Like yeah.
Thanks.
This wouldn't be a thing if it were for you.
So why did we start this podcast?
Because Brittany and I were both very lonely and we needed a friend to talk to every week.
I mean, sort of.
Sort of. Yeah.
I
It's like,
literally remember you I think you threw it out as like an aside on Facebook or something, being like, somebody said I should start a podcast, but I don't even know what I'd want to do. Like, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I was literally like, I've been thinking about that for like 6 months, but I don't know like how to get started or like what people want to do. And I like jumped on your comment tentatively, being like, yeah, and if you want any help with that, I'd totally be there with you. And
Yeah.
as I'm typing it, I'm like, she's going to be like, she's trying to take my stuff. Get out of here.
No. No, absolutely not. I was like, I don't know how to do this alone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, really. And you and I have such like similarities, but also like are very, very different people. And so I
Mhm.
thought it would just be super interesting for us to talk about our perspective on things. It's been funny because like there are things about diet, nutrition, and fitness that you and I think very differently on, but I don't
Yeah.
think that we're at a point of like confrontation about it yet or like being able to have that conversation.
I think it's more because this is now we've only done one season of episodes.
One season.
So like 10
Yeah.
episodes or so. I think it's more we're growing on how we can approach talking to each other about these in an environment where it's now recorded and this is my opinion. Like it's
Yeah.
one thing to have a conversation where like there's no paper trail of this conversation and it's a complete
Yeah.
other where you can go back to the receipts. Yes, you said that.
You said that, right? And I'm like, am I the expert? Do I know enough to talk about this? I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Or
Yeah,
like,
but just
this
being
is what I feel about this, and you don't feel the same way. Do I need to have this documented that we're on opposing ends of this, and
Mhm.
now we're in a heated discussion?
Yeah. I
Ooh.
think that'd be interesting to listen to, though. I mean, I don't
I
know.
think
We'll
so.
see.
There's a couple of them that I have a feeling we're gonna go back and do some revisited episodes. Like
Revisiting. Yeah.
I don't know that
Mhm.
they'll be real soon because we have already filmed some of our content.
So many. Yeah. It's like so many.
But it'll be really interesting to go back and do some revisited of some of them. One of them that I've been thinking about is the build muscle burn fat episode. I think we
Yeah.
could do like more detail on it and like dive into some of these topics more because there was a point of it where it did feel like we were tentative and like we know stuff, but we were scared to like go into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I also hope that through this process, because I feel like we started out kind of vague on our topics and then going
Mhm.
deeper into those. I hope that through this process of listening to our podcast for the listeners, that they're learning and growing and maybe researching
Yeah.
on their own and understanding a little bit better so that when we go into those topics, it's not scary for them or they don't feel
Research.
completely lost. And then also like gives us some, I don't know if clout is the right word, but like that we do know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also
Yeah.
helps that we started, I guess, with like the vague intention of this is for the absolute beginner. And now
Uh-huh.
we're like, you know what? We can dive deeper into some of these topics because we have now taught you some beginner level
Yeah.
stuff. We can move up a little bit in our education because we've now learned here. We can move up and then eventually we can move
Mhm.
up. So I think it'll be really fun when we start to revisit some of these conversations we had
Yeah.
because it'll still be for the people who have like come along on the journey with us. And if they're a complete beginner and they didn't find us until
Mhm.
4 seasons in, could you imagine being 4
I
seasons in?
know.
We're not there,
Dude, it's
but
not that far away. And
I
like I
know.
literally think about like the way that we record and schedule and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
not that
yeah,
far.
it's only December. I don't know. Not even that far out, maybe.
Right, that
It's
won't be that far.
wild.
But like
Yeah.
people who, if they find us episodes in, they can then go back and listen to
Mhm.
some of these other ones of, oh, they walked you through these steps and now I'm caught back
Mhm.
up and I understand more what they're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to kind of like our kind of purpose behind the podcast is to bring understanding to these topics that can be daunting and scary, providing the information in a way that is easy to understand and digest, that lacks the shaming that sometimes happens
Yes.
in gym environments. Like you shouldn't feel um you shouldn't feel shame about not knowing or not understanding something about the way the body works. You shouldn't feel shame about anything related to your fitness. You are where you are, and you can make a choice to change that or you can stay there. That's completely up to you. But we want to help provide the tools in a way that's easy to understand so that you can make an informed decision about your health.
It's something that a lot of people may be feeling as well, and they don't. There's not, I mean, there is a lot of people that are talking about these struggles and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I feel like I see of it, is it always feels slightly disingenuous.
Yeah.
And their stories, I either don't connect to their story for whatever reason, or
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like you're trying to sell me something, which some of them
Yes.
are, or they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to just make themselves look better than everybody else because they're trying for
Yeah.
fame or whatever, notoriety. And
Yeah.
I hate that. Like I
Yeah. I don't
I
connect
would
with that at all. Like,
exactly.
ugh.
And I would have
No.
loved to have had like somebody breaking down topics for me in a way that's
Mhm,
relatable and that I can connect to and that doesn't make me feel like I need to buy this shake or I
mhm.
need to buy their fitness plan at all times. Like
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
want to just feel like the content you're giving me is only being given because you're trying to drive sales on your business.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I think that, like, that's one of the key things for me is one of my core beliefs is that we already have the ability within our bodies to be successful and to be healthy. We just
Yeah.
need the information to help us kind of unlock that. And so that's what
Mhm.
I want to give people. I don't want to give people a shake. I don't want to sell people a product. I want to unlock the knowledge for you to help you be successful in your life around your health and wellness and fitness and whatever that means to you. So I'm
Yes.
not trying to make you the singular cultural version of what a female should look like right now or a male should look like. What I want for you is for you to define health and fitness for yourself and make
Mhm.
choices to get there and make those choices with good information. That's what I want.
Yes. And also just feel good. Like you
Feel
shouldn't
good. Yep.
have to feel like shit even though you feel like you are now in the good spot of fitness. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
maybe striving to be, I don't know, 10% body fat, But if being at 10% body fat makes you feel like shit all the time
Yeah.
and you don't have the energy to do anything because you don't have enough calories going in and out of your body so that you can maintain 10% body fat, that's, in my mind, not healthy anymore. You may look
No,
great,
agreed.
but if you feel like shit, we got to change it.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Because you should feel good. You should feel good in your body, no matter
Yeah.
where you are. I want you to love yourself through the whole journey. Are there parts of your body that you might not like? Yes, I
Yep.
have parts of my body that I look at and I go, man, I wish I could change that. Oh, well, let's carry on. Like, I'm still, I'm like, I don't, well, and here's something that I like to remind people of. So, two things. You only see your reflection of your body. You never, ever, ever see your body the way that other people see you. They could take a
Yeah.
photo of you. They could take anything else. You are never going to see your body the same way that other people see you. And then the other part is this angle is bullshit.
Oh my God, right?
Like, that's not how I look. Like, I look down and all I see is fat rolls on fat rolls on fat rolls. And that's not what my body looks like. That's not at all. And so just remembering that, like, you are never going to see the correct version of yourself, of what you actually look like in a day-to-day moment. And this angle is bullshit. 100%.
Yeah. That makes me think of so many times when my husband will take a picture of me and he'll say, I love this picture of you. And then he'll show it to me. And I will think that I look like a troll. Like, how is this the photo that you love of me?
Yeah. Agreed.
But I obviously don't look like a troll,
no.
It's just that he is not seeing the same version that I'm seeing. He's seeing me, but he's also seeing like my personality and like other traits of me being reflected in this photo. He's not seeing the fact that I have a weird angle like this and I'm doing something funky. He's seeing the fact that in that moment we were making a joke and I said something and he loved it, or whatever it was. He's seeing the moment as well as the image reflected back.
Yep. Yeah. And that's so important because, like, thinking about the way that I view other people, like whether you have fat rolls or you don't have fat rolls, you have a flat stomach, you have perfect hair, you have a perfect face, you never have acne, you have whatever it is that you're going for, like, that doesn't matter to me. I see you as a whole person. And I think that we need to give ourselves some grace to give ourselves that version of ourselves. Like, that person's great. Like, I don't care what you look like. Yep.
Right?
Do I want you to be healthy? Yes. Do I want you to be well, mentally, physically, emotionally, all that kind of stuff? Yes. Do I care that you are 7 million pounds? No, I don't care.
As long as you can still move around and do the things you need to do and your health vitals are in a healthy range, like you don't have super high blood pressure, you don't have diabetes that could be controlled, you don't have underlying conditions that could be controlled by losing weight. I think that your number doesn't really matter that much.
Agreed. I agree. And I don't want this to be like a get out of jail free card that you can just have a free for all and only eat cake for your life, because that's not right. But yes, but what Brittany's saying here of like, as long as you're healthy and taking care of yourself, that number doesn't matter. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we kind of already talked about earlier in the episode, we talked about that there's a distinct vision for where we're going. Like, we covered very general topics in the first season. This season, we're going to be diving into on some new topics, which is going to be great. And then also circling back to some of the ones that have popped up before, just really honing in on those ideas that we've presented about how to move your body, what it feels like. I feel like this time around, we're talking a lot more about mental health in there. We're throwing in some sprinkling of social wellness and emotional wellness, that kind of stuff, which is really cool. And then really debunking in some of these episodes, I feel like we're debunking some of the things that you see online around multi-level marketing, that kind of stuff.
And we purposefully planned the episode order to kind of flow together from one topic to the next. So from looking at just the topics, it might look totally random, but then when we like looked at, okay, here's who we are. Here's our episode 1. Here we
Mhm.
are. This is us. And then next episode,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome and how we have both felt that way in the fitness world
Mhm.
because of how we look or what knowledge we bring to the table and things like that. So it came perfectly from here, who we are. This is something we
Mhm.
struggle with. And then it flows into another topic, and they just keep building off of each other in our little storyline of season 2.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm really excited for this season. We also haven't talked about it yet, but we have a couple of interviews that are coming. This is our first time doing interviews and then being interviewed on other podcasts, which is really cool. Britt and I put together at the beginning, like when we were starting out with the podcast, we put together a vision board and we have some big goals that are on there. And so I kind of want to ask for help from you guys. So I know that every week we talk about like, make sure to like and subscribe, that kind of stuff, share it with your friends and family. But even if this, like, if you don't need a personal trainer or you don't need a running instructor, you don't need that kind of stuff, someone in your life probably does. You probably have people in your life who are like always talking about, oh, I'm on this diet, or oh, I want to lose this weight, or whatever it is. And so getting information in front of them in a way that is helpful and supportive and positive is a great thing, whether it is to help them lose the weight or to help them get better in their health and fitness, whatever it might be. Somebody else presenting information could be helpful. So please do like and share and subscribe, all those things. I don't want to sound like those bros on YouTube.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Whatever it is. Yeah. I love that. But yeah. We also have a lot of really fun things coming I feel like we should talk about. So this episode, when it comes out in May, we are doing a squat challenge right now. So make sure that you are doing the squats along with us. They're super cute, really themed. Britt and I are both participating in that. And then we've got a yoga challenge that's coming up. I'm excited for all the things that we're doing. So,
and if you're listening on day 1, May 1st, Squat Challenge started today. Head on over to our socials to go figure out what you need to do.
Yep, there's prizes that are coming. We have some stickers, some really cute stickers for all the people that do participate. I'm really excited about them. Yeah. Love it.
Love it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So next week we're talking about imposter syndrome. We've all been there.
Thanks for joining us today at Race to Wellness. We hope you found it both fun and informative. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit savagehealthllc.com and make a donation on the Race to Wellness page. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our next episode.
We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us any questions or leave us a comment down below. You can click on the links in the description to follow us on social media, or simply send us an email at racetowellness2023@gmail.com.